Hello, everyone. We want to welcome you to our session today on to integrate your systems or not to integrate your systems. Joining us today is Alicia from eOne Solutions, and we are excited to have such a fantastic turnout today. Before I pass it over to Alicia to cover on this hot topic, I would like to remind you that the session is being recorded and it will be posted to our on-demand webinar library for you to review and share with anyone. And if you do have any questions, please feel free to type those into the questions box and we will get them answered during our Q&A time at the end of our session. And now I will pass it on to Alicia to kick off our presentation.
Perfect. Thanks a lot for that, Angie. Like Angie said, my name is Alicia, and I love that she still pronounces my name right to this day. It's one thing I love about her. So once again, my name is Alicia. We're here to discuss today when to integrate your systems and when not to integrate them, because sometimes it doesn't make sense to actually fully integrate your data between different systems. Before we start, let's talk a little bit about eOne Solutions. We've been around since 2001, and currently we have about 23,000 customers using our product every single day. And with that, between SmartConnect and Popdock, the two products that I'm talking about today, we have over 6,000 companies using those two products alone. For today's agenda, we're going to have an overview of SmartConnect. I'm going to break these tools. I'm going to break these down so that way we can talk about each one separately, and we'll kind of talk about how they work together as well. So first, we're going to have an overview of SmartConnect. SmartConnect is our integration tool, which I'll talk about here in just a bit. And then we'll also have an overview of Popdock, and this is our tool that says we don't actually need to integrate the data. Instead, let's just display the data. Okay, I will jump between PowerPoints and demos as well. I'm one that I love to show product itself versus a lot of PowerPoint. So, and like Angie said, we'll have time for Q&A at the end as well. So what is SmartConnect? SmartConnect is our no-code integration tool, okay? So it is geared toward a functional consultant versus a developer, okay? So you don't need to hire a developer when you own SmartConnect. For those developers on the line, it is an incredibly powerful tool still, so you can still do the complexity that you're used to doing with coding, except for you're going to be able to manage the SmartConnect tool easier. You're going to be able to do those upgrades easier because obviously you don't have code to maintain, and it's going to work with multiple different systems. So let's talk about those different systems. If we start at the top here on the screen, we can see our data sources, okay? Things like Business Central, Nav, Dynamics CRM, Dynamics 365 for customer engagement, Salesforce, Concur, Zendesk. One of the big ones I want to point out on here are web services. Okay, so that's anything that has a REST web service out there, things like Shopify, Magento, basically all those websites that you're used to connecting to, WooCommerce, for example. Okay, and once you have your data source, right, where your data is coming from, you should be able to draw a line straight to the bottom to the destination. Okay. And in the same instance, since SmartConnect is a two-way integration tool, if you have data coming from your destination that you want to bring back to your data source, you absolutely can. Okay, so obviously you have a data source and a destination, right? Where you bring in your data from, where you're putting your data. Okay. Underneath the transformation area, this is how you transform the data specific to your business requirements. Okay, so this is doing things like calculations, some scripting, some translations, maybe a rolling column, grabbing that next invoice number or grabbing the next order number. We can also chain integrations together, okay? So whether that's, creating a contact inside Business Central before we create an invoice in Business Central, okay? So being able to use SmartConnect to transform your data specific to your needs. And this last box here, we're going to talk about triggers, okay? That's when do you want those integrations to run? Do we want those to be real-time integrations? We only want to track the changes since the last time that integration happened? We can manually run SmartConnect. We can schedule out those integrations to run, and we can also call those web services and APIs. All right, so some examples, we covered some of these already, but duplicate data entry. Anytime that maybe you're copying and pasting from Excel into another system or copying and pasting from one system to another, anytime you are doing repetitive things, maybe you're entering the same invoice number over and over again, where it would be easier to open up all the invoices in an Excel spreadsheet, apply those payments for those invoices, and push them all back in at one time. Okay, so that's kind of some examples for duplicate data entry and also moving data between systems. Now, imperfect data. I like this one because let's say that you, in a CRM system for salespeople, you have Northeast, Northwest, Southeast, Southwest for territories, okay? Inside of your Business Central system, maybe you want just a North and South territory. Okay, so what SmartConnect can do is it can translate data from one system to another. So anything that's maybe Northeast, Northwest in one system can be North inside of Business Central. Okay, so it translates data from one system to another. And then of course, we kind of touched on this as well, automation between systems, okay? SmartConnect can run in the background. We can schedule out those integrations to run, so it's completely hands-off. All right, so I'm gonna jump into a demo here. In our demo scenario today, what we're gonna be doing is we are going to be entering data into an e-commerce website. Okay, in this case, I just have a simple web form. SmartConnect is actually going to take that data and put it into Business Central and Dynamics 365. In this case, I'm going to call it CRM. And we're going to watch that all work together. All right, so I'm going to go to the e-commerce website, and I just have a bit.ly link, bit.ly/SC1 demo, all lowercase. If anybody wants to join me, they certainly can. bit.ly/SC1 demo. Okay, and what we're going to see is we're going to see a form like this. We're going to fill it out. Let's do, oops, I spelled that wrong. Smith and Company. All right, so we have Smith and Company. Like I said, this is just a simple web form. You know, maybe this is your Shopify, maybe this is your WooCommerce. You know, anything out there that's a third party application outside of Business Central. Okay, just think of that as this system. On here, I'm going to order a couple products. I'm going to go ahead and submit that. Okay. In the background, what is happening is SmartConnect is picking up that order for us, okay? This is where somebody would normally have to go in and enter data into different systems. In this case, SmartConnect has created a contact for us in Business Central. It's also created an invoice for us in Business Central as well. Okay, the other thing it's done is it's created an account inside of our CRM system for us and added it to a marketing list. So let's go ahead, we'll look at this Smith & Co. We can see that there's a couple customers that were entered today. We'll go into this ongoing sales here. All right, and we can see here that we have that sales invoice, right? So let's take a look at that. And look at the order that was created. Okay, so we can see that those 2 broken rims and that 1 unicycle was created inside of Business Central for us. Okay, so just remember, this is completely hands-off. SmartConnect did that all for us. Okay, I'm going to exit out of here. Now, one thing that I want to talk about is our Excel add-in. Okay, because I think this is really cool. And I use it a lot here internally too. Let me just pull this over here on my screen. So with SmartConnect, we have an Excel add-in that you can add to any spreadsheet, okay? And where this is powerful is that it's not only pushing data into Business Central. You can push data into Salesforce, CRM, you know, wherever you want to push data into, okay? This is an example of a of a template that we have built out. So this is a sales invoice template that we've built out. We have a bunch of these already on our website ready to use. Let me see if I can find our Smith & Company here. So basically what we did is we found the customer name, okay? We're gonna give it a reference here for us for that sales invoice. We put today's posting day in there. And instead of a unicycle with a broken rim, I actually wanna give us a real bike, okay? So I'm gonna say, let's order 5 bikes, okay? With the sales invoice template, what I can do is I am able to create invoices right from within inside this template. And like I said, we have ones for purchase orders as well, sales orders, some inventory item things as well. And those can all be found on our website at eonesolutions.com. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this invoice, okay? And it's going to say, all right, we've created a new invoice for Smith & Co. So let's go ahead and take a look at that invoice. If I refresh this here. We are going to see that our ongoing sales here come in, and let's take a look at that second invoice that we had come in. Okay, so here we go. We have those 5 performance bicycles that came in here as well. Okay, so we completely created a new invoice outside of the system that we were sitting in. Okay, so that's one thing that a lot of our SmartConnect users love about the templates and the Excel add-in that we have in as well. All right, let's jump into a different system. Okay, so we know SmartConnect created all that hands-off. Let's go into another system here. We have Dynamics 365 or CRM, as I mentioned that I would call it earlier. So we have some of those orders that came in here. If I go ahead and click on Smith & Co., we can see down at the bottom here that invoice that I created in that spreadsheet has been fully integrated into CRM, as well as the invoice that I created off of the website. Okay, now I want to do something a little bit different. With SmartConnect, I want to be able to set criteria. Okay, let's add in an address here. CRM is going to make us pick some information here. Okay, put it Fargo, North Dakota. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and save that. Okay, what we did here is with SmartConnect, I created a filter in here that says I only want to move data from one system to another if the relationship type is set to customer. Okay, so that's why I set the relationship type to customer. Okay, one thing that I want to mention here is, let me just refresh this so you can see it again. Okay, this is where we start blurring the lines of integrations. Okay, this little guy jumping here, Skippy, this is actually a Popdock widget. Okay, when we talk about fully integrating or maybe blurring the lines of integration, right, maybe only displaying the data that we want to show, this is where we can use Popdock. Okay, so on this iframe down here at the bottom, we did fully integrate the data. In this iframe that we have embedded up here, we did not fully integrate the data. Okay, so this is just displaying the data from one system to another. So if I actually open up this customer, I also have actions or drillbacks into, in this case, Business Central. Okay, so this is all within Popdock. We can see that the address is also in here that we entered inside of CRM. Okay, so that was a full integration, that address that I filtered out once again. So we're filtering out some data, we're doing some with full integrations, and others we're just displaying the data. Okay. All right, So let's actually take a look at what's powering these integrations. So we saw SmartConnect integrate in this case between 4 different systems: an e-commerce website, Business Central, CRM, and Excel, back and forth in many cases as well. So let's take a look at the actual interface that powers SmartConnect, okay? Or powers those integrations. So this is SmartConnect. When you open it, what you'll see is you will see a dashboard of integrations that you've ran that have been successful and unsuccessful as well. If we follow our way down the left-hand side of the screen, we can see that the next tab that we go to is we set up our connection, okay? So once again, those things like Business Central, SQL, Salesforce, NetSuite, CRM, right? So all those different REST services that you have available as well, okay? So we can set up that connection. Once that connection is set up, then we can start using that as a data source, okay? Or also a destination, okay? On the left-hand side of the screen, you can see that we have lots of different options around our data sources, okay? We can do file, folder, queries, bulk data sources. We can do those change triggers once again, or those real-time triggers. We can also have our processes run, right? So let's jump into an actual integration process here. So this is the actual mapping or setting up of that integration. Okay, so underneath this integration, in this case, we have BC products to CRM. Okay. Underneath our source, we brought in a bulk data load of Business Central data. Underneath our target destination, in this case, what we did is we actually went to customer engagement or CRM in this case. And then for us to set up this integration, all we're doing is selecting from a drop-down box, okay? So on the right-hand side, we have all of our source columns, right, where our data is coming from. On the left-hand side, we have all of our destination columns, our target, where our data is going to, okay? So over here, all we need to do is select from the drop-down box when we want the source mapped to that destination, okay? In the same way, if we want to add in any additional columns, we certainly can, okay? So this is for things like entity lookups or local constants or those rolling columns, etc. Once you create those additional columns here, then those will show up back in your target integration underneath your source name, okay? All right, a couple more things I want to show you in here. We also have the ability to add in tasks. I'm just going to create one here. I think my favorite one to show people is the send email. Okay, so what you can do is send an email on an error, or you can also have it sent on a successful run or successful integration. Okay, so where this becomes really handy is, let's say that you have your integrations scheduled. Okay, so those are scheduled, they're completely hands-off. You don't know if something's successful or if something's failed. So that's where you can set up this email send or this email notification to let you know either way. All right, and speaking of error processing, as you know, no data is perfect. So what we've created is a really handy error processing or error handling log, okay? And so what we have here in this screen is we are able to see this error that occurred. And what we do is we get that back from the destination. So we're just getting, in this case, the error back from Business Central. And right from within the screen, we're able to correct that error, okay? And then rerun that single record, okay? Where this is really powerful is, let's say you have 5,000 records that you're pushing into a system at one time and 2 of them fail. You're able to correct those 2 records and then reprocess just those 2 records right from within the screen. All right, so I'll talk about one more thing here. this is where you're able to set up that integration. Okay, so you're going to pick your map that you want scheduled. You're going to have that, you're going to select when you want that scheduled as well. Daily, weekly, monthly, once every 7 minutes. You can schedule that however often you would like. All right, so I think that sums up SmartConnect in a nutshell. I went over things really quickly, but I think you still have a really good idea of what SmartConnect is powerful for, those full integrations between virtually any system that you want. So let's talk about SmartConnect pricing just briefly. For the standard plan, it is $400 per month. This is US dollars. We also have worldwide pricing as well, and that's for up to 4 connections, okay? And I always get the question, what is a connection? A connection I like to define as more of like a system. So Business Central would be a connection, CRM would be a connection, any file would be a connection. And once that file connection is set up, you can use, Excel, CSV, text, FTP, everything would fall underneath that one file connection. And if you have any questions about that, you can certainly feel free to reach out to Angie or myself as well. All right, the next product, Popdock. So I absolutely love Popdock because what it does is it allows users to get at lists of data, right? And it really does blur those lines of integration, right? Sometimes it doesn't make sense to maybe store all that data in Azure for a full integration. Maybe it only makes sense to display data from one system to another. What Popdock allows us to do is to get lists of data from many, many different systems. At this point, we have over 60 plus applications that we're using, but we're creating new ones every single day. So if you do have suggestions for those, certainly feel free to reach out to us and we'll see what we can do to create that for you. So for Popdock, I want to talk about 5 different pillars of Popdock, and it's kind of a tongue twister, but I think these are really important things to talk about. We talked about those embedded widgets, right? Being able to embed those windows from one system into another, okay? That's no integration required. We have those external applications embedded into another system as well. Along those same lines, we have one interface for reporting from any system, okay? On this screen, you can see a little screenshot of Popdock. I'll be going over that interface in just a minute, but what it allows us to do, and I'm touching on the custom reporting across applications as well here, that bullet point, but what it allows us to do is, let's say that you have 4 or 5 different systems that you log into every day. Okay, maybe you have a Stripe, maybe you have a Braintree, maybe you have Business Central, maybe you have a Shopify, maybe you have a Zoho, right? It allows you to grab lists of data from all those different systems and view them in one interface. You don't have to log out and log into other systems. Along those same lines, you also get real-time data access. Okay, so we're not storing any data. This is not a Power BI. Okay, so this is line level. This is not financial reports. Okay, so this is for people that want to get access to their data whenever they want during the day. It's line level. It's not an overview of just financials. Okay. And the last one I want to talk about there is the scheduled exception reporting. Okay, so what that is we like to call them the wall of zeros, right? So things that don't occur very often, but you want to be notified when it does. Okay, so maybe somebody went over their credit limit and you want to get notified for that. So you can also schedule out those exceptions to be emailed to you. All right, so I'm just going to touch briefly and then I'm going to jump into Popdock to show you a few of these different things. So we kind of already covered those embedded widgets, right? Maybe we want to see real-time data in Business Central inside of D365, which I showed you earlier, but maybe that data also includes a legacy ERP. Maybe Or maybe you're moving from like a Dynamics GP or a QuickBooks or SL over to Business Central. This is where you're able to see that data versus actually migrating it, okay? Or even cross-application widgets. Let's say we want to see with our Business Central invoice, the tracking number that went with that if we're using a tracking system, okay? So let's jump back into my screen here. And let's talk about those widgets again, okay? Earlier, I'd already mentioned this was a widget inside a CRM that we're seeing Business Central data. Let me show you just a couple more, okay? This is a Salesforce system, and I'm just using this as an example of how you can embed a widget into another system. But in this case, I'm inside of a Salesforce system, and I'm seeing Business Central data, okay? Within this Business Central data, I'm also seeing tracking numbers, okay? And we have actionable items as well. So in this case, I could open a customer and open an invoice. I also have another application built inside here called Zendesk tickets, okay? So this is just another application. In this case, it's Zendesk, okay? I want to view all my Zendesk tickets inside of my CRM system or Salesforce system, okay? I can also do that with Popdock, okay? So think of this, any system outside of Business Central that you want to see, or any system that you use outside of Business Central and you want to see the data inside another system, think of using Popdock for that. In this case, Zendesk tickets, once again, I'm able to even, do those actions like mentioned before. Maybe I am going to put it on hold, okay? Maybe I want to be able to sort that list of data as well. So maybe I'm going to sort by the status and then, the priority of it. And I'm going to just collapse those. So I'm going to be able to see all the open statuses with an urgent ticket, okay? So within these widgets, you also have the option to be able to, manipulate these lists how you want to be able to see that data. And the same way, if you do like fancier graphs, we can certainly see those in pie charts or lists as well. So in this case, I just have a pretty pie chart here. We can see for this customer, how many different ingredients they ordered for their pizza shop. Okay, so lots of different options there, being able to add those in. All right, one more widget that I really like to show you. As you know, inside of Business Central, the reporting it's a bit clunky. So what we did is we created a Popdock widget that essentially just adds an extension at the top here of your screen. If I just click on Popdock and click on Popdock here, I'm going to be able to see any favorites that I created inside of our Popdock application inside of the widget here, okay? So I have some Dynamics GP data, once again, not having to migrate any data. I have data from outside of different areas as well. So in this case, I'll open up some sales invoices, but I have that interface again, right, where I'm able to add on different columns. I'm able to filter out different data. I'm able to group by different data, etc. Okay, so this becomes a really, really functional end user tool. Okay. All right, I'm going to jump back into my PowerPoint for just 1 minute. So we talked about cross-application reporting, right? Being able to compare or join or merge data from different systems. Some examples, and I know a lot of people don't think of this, especially if you're outside of the marketing department, but even inside of marketing, right? We want, your marketing team and sales team wants to be able to see, let's say that you put ads out there, click ads out there, or you want to see, how many followers you have on Facebook and Twitter, so that way you know which social marketing campaigns to put out there, okay? Just an example of something that you can do with Popdock. You can be able to compare. Business Central and legacy systems, once again, being able to compare those different systems. So I'm going to jump back into Popdock here, and this is the actual interface of Popdock, okay? So when we open up Popdock, what we see is a bunch of different favorites that we've created at the top. Once again, these are all different lists of data, okay? We also have any widgets, once again, on this home page, okay? So this can be, widgets from other systems. We can completely customize this home page to look however you want, okay? So let's go ahead and let's open up a list here, okay? I'll log back in. I was logged out for too long. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to open up a Business Central list here in this case. So once this is open, we can see that we have a bunch of different invoices listed in this case. We can add different columns, right? We can search for different columns. Maybe I want to add a document date. We'll add some dimension codes, some ship to lines as well. So we'll add on a bunch of different columns here, okay? So completely flexible. You're able to add on any columns that you want. Also, if you wanted to, we could sort, right? We could drag and drop, maybe by document date, by account, by customer name, etc. And maybe customer name makes more sense in this case, but we can filter out that data however we want as well. Okay, so I'm going to filter this out. The amount remaining equals whatever, or 0. Of course, this can be anything that's in this list. We can filter out that data down to the max records needed as well. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and save that. And in the same way, if we want to create a favorite, we can create favorites too. We can share those with our team. We can tag them. So maybe we only have a list of all of our Business Central lists. Maybe we have a tag of all of our GP or all of our Shopify different lists that we have there, okay? So once again, Popdock allows you to view lists of data from virtually any system that you want, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and go into the actual list and how we create these. So I'm going to go back to our home and underneath our connectors. I'll show you how easy this is. So I'm going to just open up the Business Central connector in this case, and I'm going to go to our lists. We have a bunch of canned lists here that are available. Okay, so all those ones that come with Business Central, as well as any custom lists that we've built. Okay, so this would be anywhere we've done any merged list data, right? Maybe that one where we did that Business Central invoice with the UPS tracking number, okay? That's where we would create this at. We can rename these to any type of list that we want. You can name them however you want. If we go ahead and open this up and I take a list here, we can see at this specific list, we grabbed Dynamics 365, this is CRM data with Business Central data. When we merge those with line items and sales order line items as well, okay? So once again, being able to grab data from all those different applications and putting them into one list to report off of. All right. Let me go back one more time into my PowerPoint for one more slide, okay? One more slide specific to the different scenarios I want to show that or talk about, okay? Scheduled exception reporting. This is one that I think is highly underutilized that people don't realize you can use Popdock for, okay? So once again, those exceptions, they're automated notifications via the app, the Popdock app itself, or an email, okay? So you can set it up every morning. Maybe you want to get a customer list of everybody that's over their credit limit in Business Central. Once again, maybe those urgent support ticket levels in Zendesk. Maybe those $5,000, anybody that had orders over $5,000 that were declined in Braintree. I had one last week that was talking about, we send out 4,000 invoices a week. And they said that they missed some that have a $0 invoice. And so what they wanted to use Popdock for was to filter out all those invoices that had a $0 amount on them, so that way they didn't send them out to their customers, okay? Otherwise, what they do is they actually have two accountants that try and sift through all those, but they still miss them. But it takes them hours and hours every day just to take those $0 invoices out. So just another example on, those exceptions that you can use Popdock for. Excuse me. All right, so I'm going to show you where we can set that up, okay? Underneath this developer tab, let me just touch briefly on a couple things here underneath the developer tab. This is where you set up those widgets, okay? So if I go ahead and click into one here, we can see here that we've essentially set up the different options, allowing export, all those different actions that you want to allow or disallow. And then this is where we create that code generator for you, okay? So once again, this was an iframe that I showed you inside a CRM, okay? This is essentially how easy it is. Grab that code, embed that inside a CRM, and then you have that widget to be able to view. Okay, so we give you that code. Once again, if you were embedding this in Salesforce, like I showed earlier, you'd use that visual force page, etc. So we've created that code for you. All right, let me go back one page. So this is where we have those scheduled exception reports, okay? So where you're able to set those up. So I'm just going to click on the top one here. But as an example, this one's just saying, all right, we're looking at customers that are over their credit limit. We selected the GP connector for this example, but once again, could be that Business Central connector. We take a look at what different group it's in, okay? And then we take a look at that list, right? So we can create that list inside of that interface first, grab that favorite and have that favorite emailed to us, every day, only on certain days if you don't want to see it on a weekend and be bothered by that. You can select certain days of the month, etc. Okay, so basically you can have that scheduled to send to you whenever you'd like. All right, so a couple more slides and then I would be happy to take any questions. So I hope you got a really good overview of Popdock. There's so much to it. There's so much people can do with it. Once again, just grabbing those lists of data virtually from any system that you want and being able to view those in one interface, or also within another system as well. So with those widgets, being able to embed those different widgets, for one widget, if you wanted to start at the standard plan, you certainly could. Unlimited widgets, I would suggest starting out that professional plan. That also gives you access to SmartConnect actually as a Popdock data source, using Popdock as a SmartConnect data source. It also gives you access to any APIs, right? Maybe those Shopify's, for example. And then, of course, those unlimited favorite widgets where you're able to view that data from within inside any system. It starts out $99 a month, and then any user on top of that is $19 per month. Oh, sorry about that. All right. If you're interested in learning a bit more about Popdock or SmartConnect, go ahead, take the product tour at smartconnect.com or popdock.com. We do have free trials of both. If you're interested in scheduling a more in-depth demo, feel free to reach out to myself or Angie on the call. And we can certainly be in contact with you if you want to show this to your whole team as well. All right, do I have any questions?
Thank you, Alicia. No questions have come through. but if anyone does have any, please feel free to contact the team at eOne, or if you would like to contact your account manager here at Innovia, you may do so as well.
All right, sounds great.
All right, well, Alicia, thank you for presenting again, and to everyone on today's call, or if you're watching on demand, we appreciate you joining us. I just want to let you know that we do have a few more webinars coming soon. Tomorrow we have Kalumo presenting on making digital transformation for planning and reporting easy and practical. And then next Tuesday, November 12th, we have Sana Commerce, and they're going to be presenting on 5 reasons you need e-commerce built for Microsoft Dynamics Nav and Dynamics 365 Business Central. So if you're interested in any of those webinars or any future webinars, please visit our website, and that's innovia.com/events. And if you haven't heard of our podcast by now, it's called the Innovia Conversation. You can find out about all the different podcast platforms to listen to on our podcast page, and that's innovia.com/podcast. So check out the podcast selection and subscribe so you'll get notified when the new episodes air. All right. Well, again, thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you on another Innovia webinar. Have a great day, everyone.